Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to work with you on completing part 1 of our Access assignment, our last assignment here. So I was just writing up the directions basically, or telling you what to do in Access. And I myself have not used Access in a while. It's maybe even been a couple of years. It's a great program and all, but I just haven't had a lot of occasion to use it lately. So I wanted to at least complete one part of this assignment with you, just to kind of point out a few things and also remind myself that I can remember how to do this kind of stuff. So yes, let's get to it. I'm going to jump over to Sam, and I'm kind of in a teacher view, so let's see. I'm going to head over to Assignments. I think I'm already there, but I'll just hit refresh. I'm going to click on this Settings. I'm going to switch to Student View. And I'll just make sure I'm in the right section. And I see them right up here at the top. They're not always sorted, of course, at the top, but I can see there's going to be Assignment 10, Part 1 of 2, Assignment 10, Part 2 of 2, and I am just going to work on Part 1 of 2. So I'm going to go ahead and click that link to start it. Yeah. Project is not compatible with Office for Mac, Office for Windows to complete this. Okay, use that. Cool. There's 3 attempts allowed. Do I have the correct version of Microsoft Office installed? Pretty sure I do. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and start it up. Now, it's prompting me to, so I need to download the directions file, which is a Word document, and I need to download the starting access file, which is an ACCDB file. Before I do that, because I know I'm going to save to my desktop, actually I downloaded these files a little bit earlier, but I'm not going to use those. I will just stick them somewhere. I'll just create myself a new folder. Access stuff. And I'll take those files and move them into that folder. Oh, I think I still have something open. Okay, hold on. Let's close. Try again. Great, so now I have stuff stored in that folder. I'm going to do something with those later. And I got a bunch of stuff on here. I don't need that anymore. Let me go ahead and do a little house cleaning. Cool. So now I can jump back over to this assignment and download what I need to download. So let me go ahead and click on the instructions file. Save it to my desktop. That is good. And I'm going to download the ACCDB file, the Access database file. Download that to my desktop, save away, good. And now I'm not going to close this because I'm going to submit this into SAM when I'm done. So I'll leave this available, but just go ahead and minimize. Let me go ahead and double click on the Word document to open up the instructions. And I'm going to choose Enable Editing. So I've got these directions handy. And I'll just Windows right arrow to move those over to the side. Okay, I'm just kind of glancing over to see what's going on in here. Give me all the project steps and stuff. I know you guys have been doing SAM projects a number of times in the term, but it's been a little bit since I've done one, so this will be fun for me too. All right, so let's see what we're getting into. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up this Access file. Now, of course, I should just be able to double-click this Access file. It's going to look for Microsoft Access on my computer and go ahead and launch that. Now, remember, you do have to have Microsoft Access. So if you went from a previous version of Microsoft Office that you already had before the term, you may not have Access even available. So you'll want to get the complete Microsoft Office suite from your student account, and Access is included. I double-checked it right before starting this video. So it is available. In fact, I'm using a student version of Office 2019 on this computer right here. So things are looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and click Enable Content. So Access is going to be pretty unusual compared to the other programs I've used, so hopefully you've read through your Access chapter, your Access resources, and you've also, of course, completed the participation and things. So I can see I've got this database, and it's given me a number of tables. Cool. And I've got at least one form created. A form is usually a nice interface for inputting data into one of the tables, one or more of the tables. All right, just out of curiosity, I'm going to double click on the customers table object just to get a look at that. And it opens up for me right into Datasheet view, which looks very much like Excel. It's structured very much like Excel. So that's pretty good. A lot of records in there. I look down at the bottom at the navigation. I can see there's 50 records in the customers table. Cool. All right. Well, let me, excuse me. Let me go and close that because I don't think I need it open yet. And now it's time to start following some directions. Let's see. So open the database file. I've done that, and I can see I'm supposed to open my first and last name _1. That's what I have up here, Ralph Phillips _1. Done and done. Save the file. Basically, I'm going to change the 1 to a 2 by changing the 1 to a 2. So let me go ahead and take care of that. I'm going to click on File, Save As. I will save as a database file. Yep, standard default there. Let me click Save As. I'm going to save to my desktop, and I'm going to change the little number 1, if I can click it, to a number 2, and save. And let me go ahead and enable content again. So I'm glancing up at the top here at my file name, and it looks pretty accurate. I still see my full name in there, _2.accdb. Remember, if those files aren't right, then the auto grader in SAM won't work. Cool, so I think that's pretty good. Back to the directions. All right, I think that's all good. Open the grading info table and ensure that your first and last name is displayed as the first record in the table. So I'll just head over here. There's my grading info table. Notice it starts with an underscore. That's a little trick in order to force the alphabetization, so it's always at the top there. It's a tough word for me to say. So the underscore is first. I'm going to open it up, and sure enough, there's my information. My first and last name is in there, so your information would be in yours. Neat. I'll just open up the directions again. Oh wait, first name is displayed as the first record in the table. If the table does not contain your name, delete the file and download a new copy from the same. Okay, they're just letting me know, because remember, each student's file is customized to you. All right, I think I'm ready to get going. Let's see, how many steps do we have in this thing here? 12, 13 steps. All right, we are on step number 1. Let's see, I know that's really tiny on your screen to see, but I don't want to maximize it just yet. But I'm working on step number 1. Personal Insurance Incorporated is a national company that insures homeowners and renters. It also offers umbrella policies. My wife and I have an umbrella policy. That's like an overarching insurance product on top of your homeowner's insurance or renter's insurance and car insurance and stuff like that. It covers you above and beyond any of those other insurance limitations. As a regional manager, you've decided to create an access database to better manage information on customers and policies. Groovy. Create a new table in Datasheet view with the following options. So I need a new table in Datasheet view. Well, it's giving me some existing tables, but I need to create a new table. So let's see. Let me close the table that I have open. And let's see. I'm going to window left arrow so that way I can see my directions at the same time as I'm doing stuff. Now when I make my windows narrower, it does change some of the look of my buttons up here. So my menu bars may look a little different than yours, but I should still have access to all the same stuff as you do, and vice versa. Okay, excuse me. So I'm going to click on the Create ribbon, looking at all my choices here, and I do see there's an option to create a table right there. All right, and let's see, create a new table in Datasheet view. Now when I click this new table button, I'm going to click it. Oh, it is in Datasheet view, so that's a good thing. When I used to use Access more often, I used to always like to go into Design view. I was not a big fan of Datasheet view, but I'm going to work in Datasheet view. Now I'm on step 1A. Rename the default primary key ID field policy number. Rename the default primary key. So here's my primary key is probably going to be ID. Let me click on this drop down for ID. This is why I find the design view so much better. Let me just give you I'll come back to this, of course. Let me change my view over to design view, or I can just click this button right up here. It wants me to give the table a name. Save the table using renters as the name. So I'm just looking at step D there. I'm going to call it renters. Click OK. There we go. So I've always liked this for table design, because then I can clearly see there's my ID, there's my primary key. So if I wasn't following directions, I'd probably work on it this way. In fact, the test or the assignment probably doesn't even know how we do it. But let me jump back over to Datasheet view, and I can see that I'm activated on the ID field. Now I'm looking at my options up here just to see what I've got going on. All right, nothing too exciting. All right, well, let me go ahead and rename this thing. So I'm going to try this little drop down again. Now I'm not getting all the options that I'd prefer there, so let's see. What if I right click? So if I right click, I start to see a few more options. Remember, this is called your shortcut menu or your context menu. And let's see, I do see an option there for rename field. I'm just trying to orient myself to see what other options are on there. Okay, let me rename that field, and it should be called policy number. Notice there's no spaces in that, capital P, capital M. Oops, and it jumps over to my next field. Let me go back to this one. Right click again. Let me do this. I'm going to maximize this really quick. Be active on here. Go to my fields ribbon, make sure I can see everything nice and easily. And this is where I'll be able to get some of those options. So, all right, let me shrink this back up. Okay, so I need to look over at my fields ribbon for a few options. Rename primary, okay, that's done, and change the data type to short text. All right, so I'm looking at my fields. It's currently set to auto number as the data type. I'm going to change it to short text. All right, looks like I'm doing that just as well. So another reason I like that design view is because in design view, once you see your field, you'll see the data type right there. Just everything is kind of front and center with what you're looking at. On Datasheet view, you're focused on the records. So anyway, let's stick with it. Add a new field with the name customer ID. Okay, so I'll click to add a new field in the short text data type. So I'll do short text, and it's supposed to be called customer ID. Notice C is capitalized and ID is capitalized. Change the field size of the customer ID field to 7. So I'm active on there. And let me jump over to the fields ribbon. Field size is defaulted to 255. I'm going to change it to 7. Okay, add a new field with the name personal property. Okay, click to add. It's going to be a currency data type. Got it. And then I call it personal property. No spaces, and then a uppercase P for personal, uppercase P and property. All right, and then I can just press enter there, I bet. I don't want to add a new one, so I'll just click away or escape. No, not letting me do either of those things. Escape again. I guess I'm all right. Let's see what happens here. Save the table using renters as the name. Now I kind of already did that because it prompted me right at the beginning. Now, interesting thing is, if I were to do File, Save As, I'm saving my database as, but I guess I don't want to show you that. Oh, Save Object As. This is what I was going to show you. I could go to my Save Object As, and my object, my current active object, is my renters table. So I could do Save Object As, Save As, and I could give it a name there or a new name. So I'm going to cancel that, and let me head back. So I think I'm in pretty good shape. I got my renters table. So in theory, I should be able to close this renters table and now have the renters table available to me as one of my other tables, and I could double click it and open it back up. Policy number. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. Let's see, I'm missing something. I've got policy number. I'm missing customer ID, so I must not have saved that. So let's go ahead and correct that. Let's click on this one, right click, rename the field, customer ID, enter. What else did I need to do? is supposed to be a 7. Go back to the fields ribbon. Oh, I do have field size of 7. Interesting. Let's see. So I've got my policy number. That's short text. It didn't tell me to change the field size. Got my customer ID. Short text. Field size is 7. Personal property is a currency type. The table is renters. Excellent. Let me just hit the little floppy disk up here, or Control S to save. Make sure that's saved. I'm going to close my renters table. I'm going to double click to open my renters table again. That's looking better. Okay. Yeah, so you notice I'm kind of going very slow and deliberate. As I said, I'm not as familiar with Access as I am with Word and Excel and PowerPoint. So I'm trying to be super careful and look over things. And I imagine you're going to be kind of in the same boat. So make sure it's okay to go slow. We've only got 2 projects here. All right, I think number 1 for me is complete. So I'm just going to go ahead and strike that all out. Number 2. With the renters table still open, open up that renters table again. With the renters table still open in Datasheet view, add the record shown in table 1. Okay, so they want me to add in this information as it is. I will do so. Policy number R10223 tab. Customer ID 11004 tab. Personal property 75,000. I don't have to type the comma because that's going to get entered for me because it's a currency format. So all I have to do is type in the hard number 75,000. Okay, I'm sure spelling is important here, so let me just glance over. R10223, good. 11004. All right, that looks good. No, that was step number 2. Now we're on step number 3. Create a new table in design view. Okay, I'm going to close that table. If I double click on my renters table, that information is in there. Nice. All right, create a new table in design view. Hey, that's what I like to do. So I'm going to create, and I can go right to table design. So I could click on table and then switch over to design view, or I can just go right to table design. And now we're looking at another table. Add a field with the name policy number. Policy number, capital P, capital N, and then the auto. I just pressed my tab key there, and then just type letter A, got auto number, tab. Okay, and then policy number is also going to be this table's primary key. So I just have to click on this, and I can click the primary key button right up there. It puts a little key icon. Primary key. Every table needs at least one primary key. Very often it's some kind of identification number. Like your 820 number would be your primary key in a student database. The CRN for our course would be a primary key in a courses database, that kind of thing. No 2 classes have the same CRN. No 2 students have the same 820 number. Social security number, driver's license number. Those are all primary keys in databases somewhere. All right, feeling pretty good about that. Set the policy number as the table's primary key, done and done. Save the table with the name homeowners, but do not close it. Okay, now if I tried to close it without saving it, Access would prompt me to save it. So let me go ahead and do a file, save as. I'm going to save object as, done and done, save as. And let's see, this table is supposed to be called homeowners. Click OK. Great, so it's got the homeowner's name, but I'm leaving it open. Do not close it. So that was step 3. I'll strike it out. Now I'm on step 4. With the homeowner's table still open in design view, add a second field to the table with the field name, customer ID, and short text. Okay, cool. All right, I will just go to customer, I'm misspelling it, customer ID, spelling it just the way it tells me. Short text, that's what it defaulted to. Oh, then it tells me to save the table, so I can click the little floppy disk up in the quick access toolbar there, or Control S, and now I should be able to close it. Done. All right. And now I have my homeowners table. So this is a relational database, of course, which means it's made up of multiple tables that are related to each other. We haven't established relationships. I don't know if they'll do that here in a later step. Maybe they will. All right, that is done. Where am I at? That was step 4. Let me strike it out. Step 5, open the customers table in design view. Okay, so I think I can right click on my customers table. There's probably, yeah, there we go. I can just go right to design view. Got it. And then change the name of the field named first to first name, and then use last name to change the name. Okay, so instead of just first, they want me to have first name, and then instead of last, they want last name. I like that idea a lot. To change the name of the field. Got it. That was step 5. That was pretty easy, assuming I did it right, of course. Step 6. With the customers table still open in design view, change the data type property for the customer ID field from the number to the short text. Customer ID, number to short text. So instead of number, they want short text. That's pretty normal, by the way. And you might think, well, gee, an ID number, my 820 number, maybe that should be a number. But no, ID numbers are usually text. They want short text because remember, you're never doing math with your 820 ID number. We never need to get the average ID number or the total sum of ID numbers. So same thing for zip codes. So when you have something that seems like a number but you wouldn't calculate with it, think text for that kind of field. So short text, all right, that is done. I'm going to cross it out. In design view, add a new field to the customers table. That's where I'm at. So let me just jump down here. New field. Should be date of birth. Notice no spaces, get the uppercase right, and this is going to be the date time. So I'm just using my keyboard when I do this. I'm just tabbing over and then I start to type in date time and it prompts me for that. So if I start to type in S, well, that's screwing me up now. So if I start to type in S8 or S, there's the short text option. Let me backspace. As soon as I start to type in DA, date time, I just tab, move on to accept that. Save the customers table. I'll click my little, I'll do Control S. Control S. All right, cross that out. Number 8, we are more than halfway. Remember, there's only 12, 13 steps on this thing, and I'm on step number 8 already. Switch the customers table to Datasheet view. So I'll just click that little toggle over here in the top left corner, my home ribbon. I'm in Datasheet view. I can see there's 50 records in here. Got it. Navigate to the third record, which has a customer ID. A couple ways we could do this. Obviously, I can see the third record right here. It's Heaven Barton. But also, I've got these little navigation tools down there in the very bottom. I know you can hardly see it on your screen on my recorder here, but I can see that I'm on 1 of 50 right now. And if I click the little single arrow, my next record, I can do, there's 2 of 50 and then there's 3 of 50, and I can see it highlighting up in the datasheet view. If it was a really big table, I could actually just type a number in right there. So I could literally type in the number 3 and then enter and go to it. Like I could type in the number 33 and enter, and it would jump to record 33. So different ways to navigate. And I think that could be important on the test, because it's probably going to want you to navigate different records using different techniques. So don't assume, I know the easiest thing, I can see it right there, just click it. Sometimes you got to use some of these other tools in there. All right. Oh, I'm supposed to delete the record. Bye-bye, Heaven Barton. So let's see, I'm active in that record. So let's see what I've got up here. Now my instinct would be to right click on this and see if I have an option. I don't see a delete option. However, let me click on this. If I click on the little button to the left of the ID, now I've got the entire record selected, and I can see that my delete option is now available to me, so I could delete this item. So that's probably good. I could also right click and I can have an option for delete record now. So once it's completely selected, I can do that. So I think I'll do the right click method since it doesn't tell me which way to do it. Delete the record. You're about to delete one record? Yes, I'm okay with that. If I wasn't, who knows? All right. Let me go ahead and, I didn't even confirm the field ID, but it looks like it's right because number 3 is missing. So let's cross that off. Step 9. Navigate to the 5th record, which has a customer ID of 1106. All right, there it is, 1106. Change the value to Albert's for the last name field. All right. So perhaps we had a name change. Alberts for the last name field for Anne, which is record ID number 6. It's record number 5, even though it's ID 6. That's okay. All right, feel good about that. And then close it. Now I shouldn't have to save it. So if I were to close customers and then go back into customers, I can see it is Ann Albert. So it does maintain those changes. So don't worry about that kind of stuff. That's kind of a nice feature of Access, that it keeps kind of auto-saving those little changes that you make. That was step 9, so I can cross that off the list. Step 10. You also need to view individual customer records. Use the Form tool to create a form for the customer's table. Got it. Okay. A couple ways I think we can do this. I recall there is a kind of a helpful way. If my customers table is active, you notice my customers table is active over in my objects menu. I'm going to right click on customers. And nope, okay. I'm going to keep it active so it's selected. I'm going to click create, and I'm looking over my options here. And maybe I just click the form. Create a form that lets you enter information for one record at a time. I think that might work for me. I'm going to give it a shot. Click it. Perfect. Yeah, notice it defaulted to customers. It defaulted to customers because that is the table that I had active when I started that form creation button. Create a form for the customers table. Save the form with the name customer data form. Okay, so I do need to give it a better name, that's for sure. So let's see. I guess I'll do a let's see what other options I have up here. Got the design. Yeah, I guess I'll just do a save as. So I'll just do file, save as. I'm going to do my save object as. Save object as, got it. So it's my form. Let's see, what do they want me to call it? Customer data form. Spaces, uppercase, got it. Click OK. Customer data form, and I can see it over here in my object menu. Confirm that the form matches figure 1. Oh, all right, there's a picture of it. Here's mine. Looks the same to me, so I think we're in pretty good shape there. Oh, all right, that was step 10. That was pretty easy. And strike it out. No, close the form. Good. All right, step 11. Use the Simple Query Wizard to create a query based on the umbrella table with the following options. All right. I don't remember doing one of these in a long time, but let's see. I'm going to click on my umbrella table just so that it's active. Click once to make it active, but I'm not going to double click to open it. And then I'm going to go over to create, and then we have the query wizard, which is the Simple Query Wizard I'm very, very certain of. So let me just go ahead and click the Query Wizard. Ah, there it is. There's the option for the Simple Query Wizard. All right. Create a query based on the umbrella table. All right, let's click OK. Cool. The table's involved. See, it's got my table, umbrella table in the menu. I could choose other ones, but umbrella is what I want. So that's good. Include all fields from the umbrella table in the query. Now, if I want to bring over all of the fields, then I can click this little double arrow, and that's going to bring all fields over to my selected field. So that's good. And then save the query with the name umbrella query. All right, well, let me just click next. Doesn't tell me this other stuff, so I'm just going to click next. Here we go. What title do you want for your query? Umbrella query, and that's what it's got in there by default, so that looks good. Remember, query just means a question, so it's how you question your database. How do you find information? And then close the query. So I'll just click finish. Oh wait, I don't want to open the query. Oh, I guess I'll hit finish. It's going to open the query, and then it wants me to close the query. Got it. All right. Well, I think that was it. Step 11. Cross it off the list. Not bad. We're only 30 minutes in, and I think we were just minutes away from being finished. You need to refer to a printed copy of the umbrella table when assigning consultants to projects. Use the report wizard to create a report. So a report is going to be the output from a database. So kind of like a report card is a report from your grades database, student database, that kind of thing. Transcripts is a report produced by a student's database and that kind of stuff. All right. Copy the umbrella table. So my umbrella table is active. It's not open, but it's active. I'm going to go to create, and I want a report. Here it is over here. Use the report wizard. So I'm going to click on report wizard. Got it. Include all fields from the umbrella table. Umbrella table is selected. All fields. Remember, double arrows for that. That looks good. Do not include any grouping levels. So when I click next, it's going to ask me about do I want any grouping levels. It doesn't want any grouping levels, which I think are pretty cool. Unfortunately, they don't want us to do them. So I'll click next. Sort the report by customer ID in ascending order. So I choose the field customer ID. It is ascending. If I click this, it would be descending. I'll click it again to make it ascending, alphabetical A through Z. All right, next, select tabular as the layout, which is what's done, and portrait as the orientation. That is also done. Then next, save the report using umbrella report as the name. So I have to correct this one, umbrella report. Confirm the report matches. So let me hit finish. Okay, there's my report, and here's their report. And glancing at it, they look pretty darn similar. If I scroll to the right over here, I can see mine. I don't see my page number, but my page number is going to be a little further down. They just took a shorter screen capture, it looks like. And of course, their date is a little different. Theirs is June 21st, 2018, but mine is put in the current date of Wednesday, November 25th, 2020, because that's the day I'm creating this video, the day before Thanksgiving. All right, so yeah, otherwise it looks pretty darn good, if you ask me. So I'm going to call number 12 completed. I'm going to look down here at number 13. In the navigation pane, let me close this report. In the navigation pane, use umbrella data form. Oh, I guess I need umbrella data form. It's just called umbrella. Was I supposed to rename that at some point? Why does it say? It says umbrella data form in bold, so I don't know if that's what they're looking for the name. Hold on, now I'm nervous. Was I supposed to rename it and I forgot? Yeah, I don't see it anywhere at a glance. So, well, I guess if it's wrong, when I turn this into Sam and they grade it, it'll tell me if I need to fix it. All right. So in the navigation pane, use the umbrella data form to rename the umbrella form. Oh, geez, you just got to start to read the whole sentence, Ralph. All right. In the navigation pane, so let's click on help. Ooh, tell me what I want to do. I'm going to type in navigation pane. That wasn't so helpful. Now if I right click, there's a rename option on that. It seems like what I would probably just do is, if their goal is to rename it, I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to call it umbrella data form. Enter. It seems like a pretty easy way to, in the navigation pane. I'm going to click on View Properties. All right, well, I'm going to see if that does it. Save and close any open objects in your database. I don't have any open objects in my database. Compact and repair your database. Alrighty, so I'm going to go to File, Save As, and Oh, that's neat. I'm not as familiar with the package and sign. I haven't seen that option before. Looks pretty cool. Now I'm not getting the option that I want there, so let me back out for a bit. Let's go back to Database Tools. There we go. Database Tools, Compact and Repair. All right, well that looks pretty obvious. I'm going to click Compact and Repair. I think it probably did what it's supposed to do. Close it and then exit access. All right, well I'm going to close my database. So I'll click on File, Close. Access is still open, but my database is closed, and now I'm going to exit the database. And there's my database file with the number 2. All right, follow the directions on the SAM website to submit your completed project. Okay, fingers crossed. Let's see how it goes. So let's see, let's jump back over to my browser. I'm going to click Continue here. Do I want to click and drag? Yeah, that sounds fun. Let's move this over so I can see. There's my file. I'm going to drag it right there. Okay, I got a little green check mark. I can see my name and the number 2 there, and submit. It's going to upload. Cool, cool, cool. Let me click View Reports. Okay, now I have a report to download. So it's a report. I'll save it to my desktop. And I can see it there. I'll click it from my browser to open it. And I'm going to click Enable Content. Maximize. Let's see, grading info table. Is that going to tell me something? It tells me nothing. Let's go down to my report. Ooh, grading report. That's pretty neat. Hey, 100 out of 100. That's good news. So it looks like I got all parts of this completed. Coolio. All right, I will close that. Close that, consider it done. Now I do know that part 2 of this assignment is really, really similar. So if you're able to work through part 1, I don't think you're going to have any problem with part 2. So thanks for hanging out with me and watching me do this. It was I'm kind of nerdy about this kind of stuff. And it was nice to get back into Access and do a couple basic things. And I haven't used Access on my computer here, my new computer at home. So that was kind of neat too. So I'll talk to you later.